Counseling 6303, Houston Baptist University, Chapter 18, presented by Dr. John Spody. Sex for sale. Pornography. Pornography is sexually explicit material intended to cause sexual arousal. It can be written, visual, or spoken. To each his or her own. Various categories of pornography. Different people find different levels of arousal from different types of pornography. Some categories include bondage, discipline, obesity, sadomasochism, fetishes, and the like. Dollars spent per person for pornography. Figure 18.2 reports the dollars spent per person for pornography in 2012. Erotica. Erotica are depictions of sexuality which display mutuality, respect, affection, and balance of power. More common with women's involvement in production of sexually explicit materials. Variations in straight, gay, lesbian, and pornographic films differ on some general basic characteristics. Most of straight porn is based on a formula of close-up views of various positions of intercourse and oral and anal sex. Gay porn industry comparable to the straight porn industry in size. Fewer lesbian porn films are being made. Historical overview. Pictorial and written representations of sexuality are not modern inventions. Even prehistoric cave drawings depict sexual activity. Photography expanded pornography. Transition from pornography business from an underground enterprise to a multi-billion-dollar industry began in 1953 with Playboy magazine. Freedom of speech versus censorship. The U.S. Constitution's First Amendment does not apply categorically to obscene materials. Controversial opinions were released by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1957. What constitutes obscenity? Dominant theme of the work as a whole must appeal to prurient interest in sex. Work must be patently offensive to contemporary community standards. The work must be without serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. The Commission of Obscenity and Pornography. There is a recommended repeal of all adult pornography laws. Meese Commission is a recommended vigorous prosecution of obscenity. Child pornography is excluded from First Amendment protection of free speech. Production, sale, and distribution of sexual images of children under the age of 17 are illegal under numerous federal and state laws. Sexting is using cell phones to take and send sexually explicit photos and text messages. They can be considered child pornography. The marriage of technology and sexually explicit materials. 13% of search engine requests are for sexual imagery. More than 2.5 million adult websites are available. Ease of access and privacy extended access to pornography. Also, portability via smartphones, tablets, and other handheld devices. The pornification of the U.S. culture. This refers to the mainstreaming of aspects of pornography and sex work in the U.S. culture, such as the raunch culture. These include such things as Girls Gone Wild, Can You Be a Porn Star? Is pornography helpful? Positive aspects. Sexual stimulation without risk of pregnancy or STIs. Provides fantasy material. Can even out differences in frequency of interest between partners. May lead to an increase in communication with partners and improve sexual experience. Is pornography harmful? Downfalls. Reports show that the use of pornography can diminish the quality of relationships between two partners. The use of pornography can create less satisfaction with physical appeal and sexual performance of a partner. The use of pornography can create a false sense of what is normal. The use of pornography may create dependence on the intense, varied sexual stimulation, and it can lead to pressure to engage in sexual behaviors seen in pornographic films. Sex work. Prostitution is the exchange of money for sexual services. Types of sex work are also varied, as are the people who engage in them. History of prostitution and sex work. Some call prostitution the oldest profession. It has a very long history, and it can even have parts of history where it has been tolerated or even valued. The legal status of sex work varies from place to place. Legalization refers to the allowing of sex work under criminal laws that regulate and control legal conditions under which the sex industry can operate. Decriminalization is the removal of all criminal laws related to the sex industry and the establishment of occupational health and safety work regulations. Worldwide legal status of sex work. Figure 18.4 reports worldwide legal status of sex work. You will notice countries in pink have legal status. Countries in yellow don't have regulations. Countries in blue, it is illegal to have sex work. And countries in white are restricted. Adult male and female sex workers. Adult sex workers vary from one another in characteristic. Critical distinction: why they chose the work. Some choose the sex work for economic necessity. Others choose to enter into sex work for psychological, social, and environmental factors. And for others, it is a personal choice and a sense of power and control. Streetwalkers are at high risk for abuse by customers, pimps, and police. The Internet and sex work. The Internet has transformed the profession of sex work. Through the Internet, the use of independent websites has been created to operate and allow sex work to be accomplished. The Internet eliminates the need for pimps and brothels, and the Internet is safer and less oppressive for working conditions for those in the sex industry. Teenagers in sex work. The median age of entry into the sex industry is between the ages of 12 and 14. Many who enter at a young age do so as a means of survival after running away from home. Most are exploited by pimps, can charge higher prices, and make more money with younger girls. Personal costs of sex work. Decriminalization and legalization significantly improves the health and safety of sex workers. Most sex workers across the world operate under the disadvantages of criminal legal statutes. There are also physical and mental health problems for sex work. Some of these problems are developed due to violence, stress, sexually transmitted diseases, and lack of control. 2/3 meet diagnostic criteria for PTSD. A large portion have been exposed or have HIV/AIDS. Customers of sex workers. John is the label for the man who buys sex in one form or another. These include people of all backgrounds, ages, races, religions, and socioeconomic statuses. A study found 10% had exchanged money for sex in the last 12 months. Women are far less likely to pay for sex. However, female sex tourism has increased. Glorification of pimps in the United States. Entertainers and corporate sponsors popularize being a pimp. Worldwide trafficking of women and children in prostitution. Sex traffickers buy, kidnap, or entice women and children by false promises of legitimate employment. They often sell the women and children to others who force them into sex work. They range from mom-and-pop operations to networks of highly sophisticated multinational crime groups. One of the posters developed by the Campaign to Rescue and Restore Victims of Human Trafficking to promote public awareness about and identification of and assistance to victims of trafficking. Look beneath the surface. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. A victim of trafficking may look like many of the people you see every day. Ask the right questions and look for clues. You are vital because you may be the only outsider with the opportunity to speak with the victim. There are safe housing, health, immigration, food, income, employment, legal and interpretation services available to victims. But first, they must be found. If you think someone is a victim of trafficking, call 1-888-3737-888. For more information about human trafficking, visit www.acf.hhs.gov/trafficking. Summary. Sex as a business involves the exchange of money for sexual stimulation. A great deal of controversy surrounds sex in the marketplace. Pornography provides explicit materials. Sex work is the exchange of sexual services for money. There's a variety of issues, both social and legal. And the onset of digital technology has created the internet transformation of the industry.